Alright, hello. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but I'll do my best, and I don't know how well you'll be able to hear me either, due to it's windy today. Now, as you may know, excuse me here, these are kind of expensive spark plug wires for your truck. They're really expensive. But I got reading on the internet, and there was a cheaper alternative, and that was to get the spark plug wire kit. It's 7 millimeters, 6 for a 6-cylinder. So the issue is these ends are nothing like these ends, because these are designed to seal and waterproof, and well, you won't be able to get it like those, but we'll make it fit. First off, sorry, I can make sure you can see. First off, you want to take and you want to push your thing out. At least mine I can push. You just push it. Then you take your electrical cutters and you cut off that part. You don't need it. Next, you pull the wire back through. Just trying to make sure you can see here. You gotta pull it back so far so you don't cut into it. Mine's far enough back. Then you just take your snips and you cut it off like that. Then you proceed to push it right back through. So you get so much exposed. And I got my spark plug right here, so that'll be handy. Now you just take your wire cutters or your scissors, which it depends on how thick your wire is, but this is pretty thick. So I'm just kind of gently, you gotta be careful so you don't cut through the wire here. Now for this application, there's no real plug inside there. It's just got a touch in there, which I really don't like, because the other ones are spring. Now for the tough part, let me find it here. Due to the fact that this is smaller than your spark plug, see how sloppy that is, and you don't want that. My method here is to take electrical tape, which is very difficult since this rubber here is very slippery, so you got to be careful and hang on to that. You got to hold it down, at least for the first wrap, before it'll sustain itself. Alright, see what I mean? It's coming undone and everything. So we just do that. Alright, now it gets easy. Then we just wrap our electrical tape around a couple times. Yeah, I know it's hard to gauge how thick to put it, but I think that's about good right about there. Now we just take our scissors or your knife, whatever you prefer or have, and cut it. Then you take and test it on your spark plug And that seems to be a pretty snug fit. Now if the fit is too snug, you can always take and unwrap it a little bit. And that will, I don't know where the speaker is on this camera. And that will make it so it'll fit in. Now for the tricky part. The other end here doesn't have that rubber boot. So you have to make one out of rubber. This is just fuel hose. This particular hose is 1/4 inch or 6.4 millimeters. The problem with it being 6.4 is that your wire is 7 millimeters. I'll get to that here in a second, dealing with that. So you take your scissors, and depending on how much you want to work, because it is very difficult, I've been doing about 1 inch. So you just take about 1 inch, and you cut it off. Can you see? Alright, you cut it off. Alrighty. After you cut that off, what you're going to want to do is, because it's like excuse me, let me think, 6 millimeters short of what you need, you take your pliers here and you stick it in that hose and you turn it around and you try to stretch it out. Which this may take a couple times to get it right. It's kind of difficult to do. Sorry you can't hear me very well. The weather is a little windy. Alright. So, sorry, my tripod is moving around and now you see my fat gut. Alright. So anyway, you just stretch it out like that. Then you take your wire end, and this is difficult because it's smaller. I stretched it, but it helps if you take some Vaseline. That's what I'm using here. I don't know if it's the best, but whatever. They use it for light bulbs and whatever else, keep them from squeaking. I don't know why. Alright. Yes, people really don't like the noise. Then, as you figured, you lube it. Alright. Then we take our piece of stretched 1/4 inch tube. Now you might be lucky enough just to get 6 millimeters, 6 millimeter fuel line, but I'm not that lucky. This is what I had in stock, so it's what I'm using. So now you just push it, which is very difficult to do. You can probably cut that off if you really wanted to. I'll do that later. And if it don't push on the nicest, here's another tip. Once you get it on so far, it helps if you take a combination wrench and put it like that, so you're pushing from behind. That seems to help because now you're not squeezing on the tube. Let's see if I get lucky and get it on the first time. Can you see that? Alright. Because sometimes I gotta take it off and stretch it. So I think I'm not getting lucky today. So I gotta take it off, stretch it out again. This helps a whole lot, otherwise give up. Unless you're more amazing than me, which is pretty hard to beat me. Alright, now I'll go for my wrench. Now personally, I recommend just getting the real ones, real wires. But the problem is it's like $300 for a set, or $50 a pop. And currently I don't have that kind of money. I think these wires are like 24 bucks. I don't know. By the time I'm done with the labor here. But hopefully I get the real ones soon. I just gotta keep working it. And like I said, it's difficult, but you gotta get it on. The wrench, but this is why I recommend a shorter piece. I've tried longer pieces and it's virtually impossible to get them on. Because it is such a tight fit. If this wasn't my truck, I'd probably charge quite a bit for labor on these. Alright, now you gotta get it on so you got the smoother end touching the spark plug, so you gotta try to get the rougher one on the under the wire here. Alright, I'm getting closer. Takes a bit to work it. And you want to resist the urge to pull on that wire, because it'll just pull the wire out and cause you problems. So I'm right-handed here and not having the best of luck showing you guys. It's coming, but not really. Alright, you've seen what I do here to get that on, so I'm going to take a quick break.